Week of excellence, them can't pass without consent. Come out and be proud cause we're magnificent.
Hi D.C.S. I'm Donna C. Fletcher Robertson. How do you do? Welcome to our Week of Excellence Symposium PR breakout session under the theme Pivoting Resiliently in Public Relations. Are you excited? Are you? Y'all feel free to tell me in the chat. I won't be talking to myself today. I am excited, especially because we have a PR guru amongst us. Without further ado, let me go on to introduce our speaker for this session, Miss Micheline Letman. Miss Micheline Letman is the Chief Executive Officer and Chief PR Strategist at PR Belle Media. Ms. Letman is also the Manager of Public Relations and Corporate Social Responsibility at Sagicor Group, Jamaica. A graduate from the Caribbean Institute of Media and Communications, CARIMAC, at the University of the West Indies, Mona, Ms. Letman has over a decade's experience in the field of public relations. The passionate marketing communicator is known in PR circles as the PR Belle. She has an exceptional track record of success across companies she has worked with, significantly increasing public relations ROI by up to 250%. Through a dedicated passion for telling stories, Miss Micheline has over 1,000 published articles and press releases throughout her career. A former journalist at one of the Caribbean's leading newspapers, Miss Micheline Media Relations is amongst her top skill set, which contributes to her near 100% pitch success in getting client stories published. Marvelous, isn't it? She's also the creator, host, and executive producer of an all-woman conversation series, Everyday Boss Babes, which premiered on YouTube in November 2020. In addition to her professional pursuits, Miss Micheline serves as a director of the nonprofit organization International Samaritan Jamaica. With over 14 years of experience, Ms. Letman looked in the face of adversity and showed resilience by pivoting against the tides of the pandemic with PR as her catalyst. She took a leap and launched her lifelong dream. Fueled by passion, under the mantra celebrating your every win, Ms. Letman launched her PR Belle media company in September 2020. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear her story. I'm prepared to take notes, and I encourage you to do the same as she reflects and sheds her genius and shares that genius with us today. I introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, no other than Miss Micheline Letman.
Thank you very much, Donna Shea, and thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to the conversation. That was a lot that was said about me. Yes, I started my PR Belle media business in September 2020. And to be honest, I never dreamt of starting a business. I will tell you, as a child growing up, we all had aspirations to become one of a handful of professions that we were told: doctor, lawyer, police, soldier, hair hostess. That was something a lot of girls said they wanted to be. For the boys, they wanted to be pilots and engineers. I had no clue what public relations was as a child, and did not know public relations until I went to CARIMAC. And from that whole journey, I discovered my love for the profession. My dream as I got older was actually to be a journalist. And that was materialized when I started to work at the Gleaner Company in my second year at the UWI, and it was my first job outside of UA when I graduated. So public relations in practice never started until after the Gleaner, which interestingly, I tell people all the time, that was my first job and I was made redundant in 2009 at the turn of the recession. Many of you young people wouldn't know about those things. You weren't even, you were still in diapers at the time, but I was made redundant. And that was such an interesting emotional experience. I was 22 at the time, 23 the most, and working somewhere and being made redundant. It was just like, what? Like, what is this? And I remember, I tell people I've only been unemployed for like 3 months. And the 3 months I was unemployed for was the period January 2009 to March 2009. And once I got my foot back into the door with a job, which was communications and marketing, I've never turned back. So since 2009, basically a year after graduating from Caramac, I started my communications journey. And what I will tell people is that everything happens for a reason. And I am grateful. I am thankful for that redundancy because it paved a way for me to grow into what I studied, what I discovered a love for when I went to UA. Knowing what you want to do is not something I tell people you need to rush into, like, and I'm sure I want to do this and I'm sure I want to do that, because our life's journey is so long and there is nothing wrong with changing your mind. There's nothing wrong with trying something new, trying some things new. We can do many things at different stages of our life. At one point, my mother had dreams of me becoming an athlete because in her mind I could run. I was like, no, mom, I was a child. I used to run up and down a primary school and win some race, a sports day. Even until recent years, every time she's watching the Olympics, she's like, look how good they right here, son, right here. I said, no, mother, it was not gonna be me. But what I always knew is that I had a love for storytelling. I had a love for writing. And through whatever medium, I want to tell stories of people, of things that are happening in our world, in our space, that can edify our minds, educate other people, make other people laugh, make other people be motivated, make other people be inspired, make other people think. So that's how I think about PR. That's how I think about writing. And I tell people, when you do PR, you're like a journalist for a brand or a company. That's how I look at journalism, at public relations. So I feel like I still do journalism in my own right, but it's just that I'm telling the story of the company that I'm employed to versus when you're employed to a media entity, you tell the stories of the nation on a greater scale. So that was my kind of PR journey. And I will tell you, if I was not going to Caramac, I was not going to university. I told my mother that if it wasn't Caramac, it was nothing. And it was just reflecting now, it was just such a proud moment. And I was proud of it then. I was the only student from my high school, St. Catherine High School, that did the test. At that time, these young people are getting away with going to Caramac. They're getting away with going to Caramac. Right, Brian? I see somebody in the chat. But Brian, oh, that's where I know Brian from. I think I know Brian more from St. Jago than Caramac. That's interesting. Yes, my sister went to St. Jago and we're all from Spanish Town and we still had a rivalry. But I was rooting for you guys in school challenge quiz just because, Spanish Town. But I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to do in terms of you. I think we are all born with a gift, and that can be manifested in different career path. So I don't think your career defines you, but I do think we all have a gift, and that gift can be manifested in different ways. Um, no longer are traditional careers the most viable route. They're not, they make you no money, to be very honest, most of these traditional careers anymore. So I would tell people just to just think about naturally what you love to do. Like, what do you do without effort? What do you do that makes you happy? What do you do that just brings you joy? What do you do that sometimes you do it for free and you don't even realize? And you're like, no, but damn, I could actually charge people for this. And that happened to me when I started PR Belle Media. And I will tell people, I think there's so many things that I do better than I do PR, but I just it just comes naturally. Like, it just happens. And I think that's because I am a planner. And I also think this will be probably an oxymoron, but I tell people I am not necessarily a friendly person, but I'm a sociable person. And a lot of people will like, no, you're so nice when you talk to me. I'm a polite person. And I think my social and interpersonal skills have helped me to shape relationships with the media and just generally stakeholders that you need to develop relationships with in order to have a successful PR career. But I'm a planner. I plan everything. So even I was talking about my birthday earlier. I plan my birthdays to the T. I plan no matter what it is. Like, everything has to have a theme. At my workplace, I'm the girl that throws all the going away parties. I'm the one who coordinates gifts for all team members and a recognition program. I love anything that celebrates people. I like to make everything a celebration. And even when I started, when I thought about Everyday Boss Bells for me was a PR strategy. So even in launching my business, a lot of persons would have known about Michelle and Letman. Yeah, man, she do PR, she work in a corporate. Yeah, man, I know her from courts. I know her from Guardian Life. Yeah, man, she does Sagicor, she had the big things. But I'm telling you, when you work in a corporate environment, what happens, even though you are leading a portfolio, sometimes the corporate company that you work from sometimes shields you from your true light. So when I launched PR Belle Media, that's when a lot of persons started to notice me. When you put a brand to who you are and you stand on your own, PR Belle Media is now Michelle and Letman. So it's no longer, oh, the PR manager at Sagicor. It's now Michelle and Letman, the CEO of PR Belle Media. People are now asking me if I still work at Sagicor. And I say, yes, just check the papers. You see, that's me. That's me doing all you're seeing out there with Sagicor. That's still me, and I'm still managing my clients, and I'm still doing this. But it's a different feeling when you just take that jump and you take that leap and you yearn for something more and you yearn for owning something. It's almost like I guess human beings, like if you just have this need to say, okay, I want a baby, or I need to go to this place, and you finally do it, the joy that comes from that feeling is just immeasurable. So that's how I feel about my business, and it continues to grow. It's the potential for me with my business is endless. Like, the possibilities are endless in terms of people, the referrals that I get, the feedback that I get from clients is just super awesome. And I want to encourage the students that are on. It's not, we have about probably 7 students, if I don't count the moderator myself, and Brian there, like the students. And no matter how many persons are online, I want to encourage everybody that passion, purpose, all these buzzwords that are going around, don't get caught up in titles. I tell people, never get caught up in titles. Go with what feels right to you. And what feels right to you will be very different as your life progresses. I never saw myself being a business owner. Maybe I never had the capacity to think about it. And sometimes that's based on where you are in your life. That's based on what's happening in your environment. That's based on what's happening in your personal life. You will grow through different stages of your life, right? And don't rush your journey. It's like, think about it. You're going to Mobe. The average time to get to Mobe is 2 hours, but you want to get there in an hour. You know what's going to happen? You're going to get in trouble. Police going to stop you. You're going to get ticket and you may just lose your life. So I'm saying to you, I look at life in very practical ways. I can't rush time. I can't wake up one day and say, and press some magic clock and say, God, I'm too tired of today, Wednesday. May I beg you fast forward the day? May I beg you fast forward this period of my life? No, there's nothing you can do about time. And the best way to manage time is just to go through it. Breathe, just step back, introspect, think about what you truly want, think about what truly makes you happy, think about what truly fulfills you, and just do it. So don't worry about the degree that you will get. Don't worry about how well or not well you do in school. The key thing is to always have a standard for yourself and not the standards that everybody else set for you, right? And I think that's a big, big thing, especially if you decide to work in corporate or just for yourself, right? There's some things that some people are doing that I would never do it that way because that's just not me. You understand? I'm a very, when I talk, I love to celebrate people. I don't like talking about sad things. I don't want to talk about on the sad. If I'm talking about something sad, it must be personal, one-on-one. If I'm out, I'm gonna celebrate people. So if you had a bad day yesterday and tomorrow is your birthday and you're like, no, I don't want it, I'm gonna like, no, you're gonna do something. Yesterday already passed. What are we gonna do about yesterday? Yesterday was a bad day. Well, let's move on from yesterday and let us celebrate your birthday. Because you know what's gonna happen? After your birthday passes, when the next day comes, you're gonna like, oh my God, geez, I really never done nothing for my birthday. I really make the day before that ruin my today when I was supposed to be celebrating myself. I realize that it passes. It passes. The good, the bad, the indifferent passes. And the memories will pass too as we get older, as Brian can attest to my old age memory at this stage. So I just want to encourage you guys, just enjoy your youth. There's some things I wish I slowed down more with or was more intentional about in my 20s. But guess what? I'm going to make up as I go along and as I learn. And I continue to learn, and I will learn from you guys. I will pause now because I'm seeing where the meeting time says 6 minutes remaining, and I hope we can refresh and get back on, but I'll take some questions now. I saw a hand up earlier.
That was me. It happened by accident, but I do have a few questions for you. And I want us to take a trip down memory lane, a quick trip. Back to when you started working at courts in 2011, right? I want you to share with us, what was your first campaign as a PR and promotions officer?
Oh, wow, girl, wow. Well, let me tell you a quick joke about just my courts experience though. So 23 years old. Yeah, about that. Jeez, that's far. About 23 years old, I applied for this PR and promotions officer job. I want to tell you, I thought I have no clue what that means, guy. Like at that age, you have no clue. I was like, yeah, furniture company, It can't be that serious. I'm gonna be like, I want like an assistant or something, guys. I got the work. I was 23 and I was replacing somebody who was in their late 30s, like big woman, big woman, I'm a pitney. So there's a real thing called ageism in corporate. I want you guys to be aware of that. Ageism is a real thing where you come in, you're bright, you're young, or you've replaced somebody that's much older than you, and people are like, you have big shoes to fill, whatever. Oh, you sound like me. And I had to put people in their place. I'm very spicy too. I'm just putting it out there. But I want to tell you that I reported to the director of marketing. I had no manager. So I thought I was going to have a manager who would just tell me what to do and, just run behind them. No, I was basically exposed to that kind of leadership and management as an officer, my first foray into like big time marketing and PR. And Donna Shay, I cannot pinpoint a specific campaign, but what I will tell you that Courts was my like foundation for just the principles that I have now, the standards that I have now. And if I was supposed to choose a thing or an event or something that really stood out for me, was Courts opening its flagship store, the Constant Spring store in Kingston on Constant Spring Road. Like that was such a teaser. Like people were so excited. Oh my God, what's this gonna look like? We had a big blue cloth covering the entire building and like a fencing that like coming soon, and people were just like, what's over there? Like, what is this? And when we launched that in December 2012, 2013, it was just so magical and fantastic. And people, I will tell you, if you guys do research on just the history of Courts marketing, you will see that Courts has been like trendsetters in marketing. These new age companies that we think are great marketers, I'm telling you, check Courts history. When it came to roadshow, guys, Courts met me know everywhere. Courts met me know everywhere in Jamaica. I was in my 20s managing hundreds of dancers on the road, managing talent. Is somebody's mic unmuted? Somebody's mic is needs to be muted. But and I'm saying this to say, just soak up all the experience. It was just such a fantastic experience. I'd never realized it again until later years that I was actually managing things. And the level of trust that my boss gave me at the time to just grow and develop and own things. I was not micromanaged. It was just such a beautiful experience. And as I said, like everything that I learned there is what has been like a foundation that I have built on in terms of my work ethic and how I do things in a very particular way. She drilled into me the importance of, do you have your checklist? How you know what you're gonna do if you don't have a checklist? Like, so don't undermine those things. And another big thing that I learned, actually my boss who hired me here at Sagicor always says to me, when you're planning something, think about the end result before you even start to write. And I find that helps me. So just have this grand vision. Just imagine when you envision your house, it's like us ladies envision our wedding, and you know what the dress looks like, and you know what flowers you want. So in your work, think about the outcome that you want. Think about how, yeah man, I see this press release on the front page. I'm gonna write this beautiful feature on my client, and this is where it's gonna go. And you just envision that, and it will give you so much impetus and drive to like really put your all into it once you are able to envision what you see for yourself, and just make everything you do, like just mark it with excellence.
In that exciting experience with Courts, I'm sure while planning your campaigns, you would have meet upon a few roadblocks. And as such, we're curious to know what was your biggest mistake, and how did you navigate getting back from it? Seeing that you weren't micromanaged and you had basically a leadership position.
Wow. Boy, that shit, you should want me them questions. I'm good on my memory bank, you know. The truth is that like when I get asked these questions, because along your journey there will be so many things that will come up, you'll make so many mistakes. And I think generally one of my biggest issues was not asking for help. Like, so I would just believe that I can just do everything because I always know. I know what I want. Michelle, I know what I want. I know I can get it done. And I always feel like if I ask other people, they're not gonna do it a particular way. And I'm very particular, guys. Like I'm a ticks. I'm so anal. It's annoying. And I tell people that's something I'm very self-aware. I'm gonna tell you the things. I know myself very well, and I will call out myself on things. And that's I'm big on accountability. I will tell you that because if I do something wrong, I'm gonna like, yeah, you know, I never think about it, I never remember. All right, I need to work on that. So I will own things. But if I was supposed to say generally, like that was a shortcoming. So I can't think of any major specific mistake now, but generally speaking, that would have been a weakness, that would have probably caused some delay or oversight of something, which is where my boss would have told me about that checklist. And yeah, if you don't have a checklist, you will forget things. So sometimes with things that we have it, we can run it through our heads, but sometimes it's the little things like you have a check handover, you will leave the check. You will leave the check, or you will forget you have an event and you're so consumed by the big picture of what it's gonna look like or whatever. You forgot to put the photographer. So it's always important to have a checklist and to divide and conquer the work. And in dividing and conquer, it's important that if you are the team lead, or even if you're not the team lead, you know, sometimes we can show up in leadership roles. I'm not always in leadership roles. I've never always been in leadership roles. And the honest truth is, I tell people, again, I don't know, something about titles and those things. It kind of irks me, to be very honest. Like, I feel like as people, if we take a certain level of pride in ourselves and if we know what we want, then you will just show up. I don't come to work to just do my job. Yeah, I have a job function and I'm focused on it and giving my absolute best. But it doesn't mean I don't look out for my other colleagues. Or if I see something happening, I'm not gonna pitch in and give my feedback. Or I'm not gonna take on certain leadership roles or traits because I'm like, none of my business. No, that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly. And interestingly, recently, my current manager, Alicia Moulton White, which you may or may not know, she was in the Gleaner and she said that it was for Women's Month. And she was speaking generally, but they were asking about what women should do in their careers to stand out. And she said, we should do more than our job description. And the comments under the Gleaner post was just so disparaging. Like people were just unkind. But you see, I tell people, there's not enough space in the world for extraordinary people. There's not enough space in the world for extraordinary people. So you're gonna have the cream of the crop that floats to the top. And then unfortunately, you're just gonna have average Joes that are there with a mindset that, oh, I'm not do more than them, pay me, or I'm not do this, because their thinking is limited. And when you want more for yourself, your thinking is never limited. And it's not about giving more to a job and them not paying you. It's about expanding your skill set. It's about you. And it's also about showing up. At the end of the day, I'm not going to tell anybody. I don't know what people mean when they say you're humble. I don't know what. I don't understand what they mean because I think we use certain words incorrectly, right? So for me, I'm coming to Sagicor. I don't want to be forgotten when I leave here. There must be something that people can say that was Michelle and Letman. When she was here for those years, she was the bomb-ass PR manager. She made this happen. She made that happen. She got a double spread in the paper for Sigma Run back and forth in 2019. She introduced feature stories that we never see people get features so as Sagicor yet. I tripled, quadrupled. These days, I don't even know how I'm gonna break last year's PR value. I'm just like, I feel like I need to quit the job because then I'm all tapped out of how far I can go. So you don't want to be forgotten. Nobody. If you want to be forgotten on this earth, well, I'm sorry. I'm not about that life. I want to be extraordinary. I want to be remembered. I want to be special. I want people to remember Michelle and Letman, the PR Belle, and I want them to remember as many great things that I do in this lifetime. So don't small up yourself. Don't make people humble you and define what humility is. For me, humility is about knowing that you are great, but also knowing that other people are great too. Like I recently tweeted, I think it was last night, that I tweeted that I'm never gonna say I'm the best, guys. I cannot say that. That's a very subjective thing to say. What I can tell you is that I'm damn good. I'm damn good at what I do, and I'm not gonna back down from that. I'm not gonna ever shy away and be like, oh, thank you. No, I'm great and I know it. I'm good and I know it, but I can't say that I'm the best. That would just be ignorant of me to say that I'm the best, right? So I would encourage you, toot your own horn, guys. If you know you're good at something, toot your own horn. But what you should never do is be ignorant, be slow to learn, not have an open mind. I am learning every day on this job. I'm doing things that I never thought I could do. Everyday Boss Bells, I want to tell you something. When I went to Carmack, the reason I chose PR outside of it sounded like journalism, but working for a corporate entity. When I really think about it, and again, guys, as you get older and you start to just understand your mind more and think about things and introspect, you realize that a lot of things we do are out of fear and out of the circumstances we grew up in or where we come from. There's just, we're not, you don't know, so you don't know, right? And then there are certain limitations that society places on us. I want to tell you, I don't like my voice. When I hear my voice being played back, it's the most annoying thing and I cannot get over it. People tell me I have a very distinctive voice, so I can't hide. As they hear it, they're like, Michelin. And I'm like, how y'all know? Like, why? Like, I don't like it. I was on a radio program one time and my boss called me like, Michelin, were you on this radio program? And I was like, yeah. But a lot of people are like, Michelle, your voice can't hide. But like doing everyday boss bells, that was the scariest thing for me. When I went to Carmack, I was like, I would never go on TV because I never thought that I had the TV look. And I never thought that I had the radio voice, guys. I was good at writing and I thought print was just boring. So I was like, I already can write. I'm not going to do the print. That lame. Then they told us about multimedia. I've never been a techie girl. Multimedia, no, I'm gonna depend on the animation business. And when they told us about PR and it was social marketing at the time, and social marketing just did sound too stuffy. It's more like a PR or something here, it sound good. Sound like I can do it. And honestly, it was just, I tell people, it was just reasonable deduction in my mind as a, 18, 17-year-old at the time. Just saying, okay, all right, this sounds cool. We still get to write and, create and do events. And so it sounds nice. So don't let society put limitations on you. And I am proud of Everyday Boss Bells. I've done, I think, 8 episodes, special episodes, and that alone has also increased my own PR. People talk about it, people know about it. Because I publicized that I had a launch party. Again, I plan everything. I'm just like, I'm not just gonna do no dibby nothing. My set was like great. And I'll tell you, people came, some of the guests came to my show and I can tell you they were surprised at how good it looked. And that is another thing. You will do things in your life And people will be surprised because they were not expecting that level of greatness from you. People, you will see the shock on their face, like, damn, I think I'm gonna start come and sit down on two little chair, nothing but for hype, a big production. I never know say that good. I never know say, yeah, so you're going. Trust me, people people will put limitations on you, and look at them pulling up everyday boss bells.
Speak, man. I just showing them.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, this is something that I'm so proud of. I haven't had the bandwidth nor the budget to do more of it. But I know that one day I will have the bandwidth and I will have the budget to do it even bigger and better. But I'm so happy that I took that just that leap of faith, and I was just like, screw it, like whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if people know me or don't know me. I don't care if I sound good or don't sound good. I don't care. I know I'm gonna look good though. I'm sure what's a part there. I'm sure what a part there. And I was gonna get people that I was genuinely interested in. And that's something for me. I can't fake like that interpersonal thing. I want to talk to people who I genuinely want to learn from. And I think somebody said to me, what made your show so like authentic was that you weren't a seasoned host or anything like that. So you were just so into the people's story. I was so into listening to them, asking questions. I was there like just very eager to talk to them. And it was just, for me, it was just a conversation. It was just nice. It was just vibing. And again, I had a special segment in the program that was about celebrating, where I had a cheers segment, and a girl likes her wine, and I'm very like prissy, and I own it. I don't care what people want to say. Oh, she's so prissy. Okay, cool. All right, that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm gonna cheers. I'm gonna sip my wine, and I'm gonna laugh and chat with the people and act like I know them from a long, long time. But it's about, I think as women, we need to celebrate life. And I don't think you need to know people to celebrate them. Like, you don't have to know them personally. Like, I can see other people just doing great things. I'm like, yeah, I like that, I admire that. That's cool. Go on, girl, do your thing. Yeah, man, you might go on with him thing. Oh, yeah, you. I'm not for know nothing else about you, but if I see you doing awesome thing, I'm gonna say, yeah, man, that nice. And the reverse is true. If I don't like something, I'm gonna tell you something I like. It's not my flavor, not my style, but yeah, you have an audience for it. So you have to be just genuine with yourself. Don't try to be up in everybody's thing, and don't get caught up. Young people, the social media hype where you see people on, may I beg you to do. Don't do it. Don't do it. Hear me telling you? Not everything on a say on social media that's glittering is wash over gold. Here is plated gold. So just be careful. Be okay with being you. Be okay with not being on social media. Be okay with not being on social media and making your money. Be okay with being on social media and not making the money either. Be okay with just being in your space. Do what makes you comfortable, what makes you happy. Don't try to go on social media and outshine nobody, or try fake chat about nobody, or whatever, some crazy things that people see people doing on social media. Just own your space. Just own your space. If you need to be on social media, use it wisely. Follow pages that are edifying, entertaining, because we all need to look at entertainment and laughter, but just try to find a balance where you are being true to who you are. And your truth, I tell people, whatever your truth is, just make sure that it is like you. And we all know right from wrong. So when I tell people own their truth, I'm not encouraging nobody to do what is wrong in their truth. Because if your truth is in the wrong, then you need help. Right? But just be you. Everybody else is taken. Everybody is taken, guys. I wouldn't choose to be anybody else but Michelle and Chevenise Letman in this moment. Never want to be anybody else. So just own you. I see people asking me if I'm hiring. Unfortunately, I'm not hiring just yet. I'm actually thinking about it, Cheyenne. I hope that is correct, Cheyenne. Oh, amazing. I'm thinking about it, Cheyenne, because God know a holy, may I everything, may I everything. May not so much the accountant because I pay people to file my taxes, but the invoicing, the answering emails, putting things in my calendar. So I nearly not met this today because I said, geez, please, I have one board meeting earlier. I said, oh God, am I gonna miss something here? I need somebody to help me with that. But I have to sort out the money part because I can't take on nobody, and then 1 month I not make enough money and I can't pay. You understand? So I will keep it at the top of my mind, Shan, or when I'm hiring to share with the D.C.S family, for so on. Let me tell you what I do, Shan. You guys can reach out to me. I know a lot of time we're busy, bad, but I do my best for message, send a voice note or something in between all the business if you guys have questions. But in terms of structured internship, just based on my business model, and because I have a substantive role at Sagicor, that takes up a lot of time for me. I tell people just reach out to me. A lot of students have reached out to me, and I give my best advice as possible. Thank you very much, Michaela. Yes, I do try my very best to be, because it's something that I believe in. I believe in communicating, and it's either for me is a yes or a no, or boy, I can't talk no. Even if I can't talk no, we probably say I can't talk no, just so that the person doesn't feel ignored, or I'll get back to you, or if you don't hear from me, just call me, nudge me. I will do my best to answer. So Cheyenne, I will keep you in mind for that PA position when I decide. Any other questions?
Yes, Miss. I have a bunch of questions.
Oh God, Donna Shay, you can't stop calling me Miss. Me tell you from, but you miss a time. My brain time to tell you to call me Miss. Yeah, call me Michelle Ann, man.
Michelle Ann, I'll respect your wishes. So I have a few questions, and they stem from both personal questions to business questions. So the first personal question I want to ask you, after hearing you tell us not to be afraid to be ourselves and leave a mark, is in an interview with The Gleaner, you said perfection is not the aim for me, right? And because you said that, we want to know what helped you overcome and silence that innate trait that tells us that we must be perfect or try to be perfect.
Boy, Donna Shay, I always get trouble, somebody knows somebody a perfect long time. Yeah, I want to tell you, and I'm very real. Like, I get trouble from my opinion. Like my back chat, my face stay. I almost get kicked out of school in grade 8. And it's not because we used to fight or anything. But just I never want nobody talk to me. Like, I never like authority. And I think I still struggle with that. I still struggle with people that ask me questions and I tell them what to do that and shit. I don't like it. But guess what? We are big people, so guess what? You have to learn and just know the world you're operating. So I don't think I've ever strived for perfection. I've never had that struggle. What I can tell you though is, again, I think I've always had this sense of self-awareness, knowing who I am. However, it was when I was an adult, I realized that some of my ways were also insecurities, right? Insecurities that you don't even know, like, until you're really like out into the world. Like, I come from Spanish Town, I come from a poor family, but then again, like, when you compare your circumstances, like, maybe I really wasn't that poor, maybe my ghetto is not as bad as the next ghetto. But at the same time, there are still insecurities based on where you're from. And I remember when I said to you that I didn't think I had the face for TV because And like, it's so interesting because when I think about it, I've never thought that I was ugly. I don't think I've ever thought that. But then maybe subconsciously, I was also comparing myself to just other people. So them look prettier, or I was a really tall, I was tall and skinny then, like Marga. Now people see me like I'm fat to some people because they're like, Michelle, you did long on Marga. Like, and even that, I didn't want to be as tall. I wish I was Brian, go away, go away. I wish in high school, I wish I was shorter. I wish I had more body. Like it was crazy the things that you think about, and you don't realize them sometimes until in your adult life you start to check yourself, right? But I would say the truth is that we can't change. There are certain things we can't change about ourselves. There are certain things I wouldn't want to change about myself. And even if I could change some things, that's just not who I am. Like I don't believe in messing with what God has given you. I don't have any birth defects. I don't have any disabilities that's hindering me. And there are people with disabilities that are doing so amazingly well. And a lot of us are able-bodied in mind, physically, and we have all these complaints about things that are insignificant. So I start to just appreciate like the things that I love about myself. Even my big adult life now, sometimes I look at myself, I'm gonna say, all right, I'm gonna look so cute today. I like to ever check myself. I'm gonna say, Michelle, really? Really? And I'm gonna just smile. I'm gonna say, yeah, girl, I see that smile there. It nice. So I would say just forget about those things. Think about how great you are in other areas. We won't all be perfect in everything. I'm at Sagicor in group marketing, and there's so many people doing so many different amazing things in their own right. If I was supposed to sit and say, boy, I wish I could do this, boy, I wish I could do that, then I wouldn't be as great in PR, would I know? Because then I would be worried about trying to be and do things that are just not me. So we just have to recognize there's no such thing as perfection. Find what you are most perfect in and make that great. So that's what I would say to that perfection question.
Thank you. Thank you for assuring us. Thank you for reaffirming us. Thank you for teaching us how to believe in ourselves, be ourselves, and actually have a legacy. We appreciate that. And it's on that note, I ask you this question, and this question is from PR Belle, right? I went on your website and let me tell you, I was shook it, blown away. I love the fact that you broke down everything. You let us know.
I did it myself, I may tell you. Thank you very much.
Pearl, yeah, girl. Yeah, girl. You go on, you come right out. You come right out. When I saw you define how media relation works, when I saw that you were offering a training, when I saw that you are into, when you are offering, you are basically telling your clients what you're doing for them for free before doing it for them. So it's like, even if they came on your site and chose not to, you know what, I'm gonna just use the information, I'm not gonna bother. You made it so available, and that is beyond commendable. And with that being said, I want to ask you, you said PR builds trust. What was it like maintaining trust for your clients and your brand during the pandemic? And how did you measure that trust?
I don't take on more than I can manage. So I said no a lot. And that's something that's important. A lot of us don't know to say no. And girl, over the past 2 years, I just said no, like I don't feel no way, you know? It's so empowering. It's so freeing. When you're able to say, no, that does not align. No, you're not my type of client. No, actually, I have too much on my plate. No, I'm busy. I can't deal with that right now. It is really empowering. And trust for me, it's a two-way street. So let me tell you guys, people may, like I tell people, I will never make a client feel like I need their money more than they need my service. Never. Because I ain't hungry. And it is something a lot of people, especially service providers, clients will make it feel like they're doing you a favor. And I'm like, no, because one, I'm telling you, girl, I feel like nobody can pay me for my knowledge and expertise, right? So no, but I collect a change from one. I'm really just collecting some change from people because the years of experience, not even the U degree, girl. Come and tell us, say, you know what, let me tell you what university do. University is just a place for young people to transition and learn some social skills and kind of get a little older in between. I'm telling you, it's the relationships that you build at university is really what matters. When I'm teaching, I don't remember one thought when them teach me for Karamak about PR, guys. I learned PR from the people that work. I learned about PR for say, and I'm so happy for the Gleaner too, because the Gleaner, right, 50 much years later, Brian, count the years them for me there. I still know the editors down there, but still have the reporter friend them down there. You can imagine, Jesus Christ, them staying in media long though. When we really think about it, them still down there now. But them are my friend. And even outside of friendships, just I think I've delivered quality work over the many years. So editors trust what I send to them. Girl, when we did at the newsroom, but not telling a no lie, we did laugh off of some PR people with their road. When me in a newsroom and people sending press release with every one big chunk of quote, guys, do not do it. Learn to write one story. Inverted pyramid. What, when, where, why, and how may I beg on to do. On a lead, please make sure so on a lead is a summary of what the news is. Do not write one sending no press release per se. And Michelle and Letman of PR Belle Media said, and just put 200 word in our quote and send it to our media house. So don't do it. I've seen it, guys. I see it. I've seen enough here. People send me release with track changes in it, with highlights in it. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. Check on the work. Check on the work. We're not perfect. We have a little one spelling and one grammatical error. We're not perfect. Lord Jesus, English is our first language. Don't make them fool, no. Here is not for first language. Here, so I learn, we have to learn. Okay? But there are certain things you just not do. You just not do it here. So trust is about quality. When people can depend on you, there are editors and reporters that are meeting them 10 years later. Like the other day, we meet Pete Sankey of the Jamaica Observer. After sending Pete Sankey, I say I follow my career. I know him name for over a decade. You can imagine knowing somebody's name, knowing people's name that you every day, they must see my name come through email for clients, for corporate companies. I send press release and they know me, like they're speaking about me in rooms and places that me don't even know. So I say, yeah, man, a girl here, man, watch your career, man, go on their thing, big up you. We met Pete Sankey 2 years ago. Like, I don't know what people look like, a lot of these media people, but they trust the content that you're sending, right? So that trust is about quality and excellence. And I was speaking about that earlier, guys. You must have a standard. You must have a standard. You must have a standard. I don't deal with mediocrity at all. It is just in a suit me. It don't look good. It don't cute. For people that chat, boy, you say, boy, a girl, she not PR. She don't even know what she do. You know what the release that she sent come the other day? I don't want that. Don't want that metal. I don't want that for myself. So don't want that for yourself.
Your work goes before you, Mr. Cuff said. And Cheyenne said, no. The power of no is something that I struggle with in my personal life. And so for what you just said, we give thanks. We are grateful to hear you share your accounts. And as such, we move into another quick question about PR Belle. And that question is, what are some of the most outstanding crisis campaign you managed during the pandemic, and how did you do?
Well, that one is kind of easy. I don't think, again, I don't think the fortunate thing, I've worked for corporate companies that are not very controversial. Maybe in government, if I worked in government, I could list off a slew of them. But the one that I can speak to is the Sagicor Sigma run that was held last year. Girl, we shared information about that run a lot, and people just obviously weren't reading. People didn't know we were keeping a run, a much smaller run, not 25,000 people, 100 people, not 25,000, 100 people. We were keeping the run. After the run keep, the warriors of Twitter took to Twitter and cussed me out. So, Sagicor this, cuss out the government, Sagicor that, COVID, there was spike, and you know the drama with Jamaican people, right? And the truth is that sometimes I say, some not, it don't make sense to answer them because wait a minute, they're gonna talk. But we always lead with our why at Sagicor. And I think just from a general place, when it comes to crisis communication, I would say own whatever it is, but always have your facts. We got approval for the run. We were within the parameters of what the Ministry of Health told us we can do. We had all the health officials, we had spacers, we had sanitizer that could have sanitized the whole of Jamaica. We had everything in place, so we needed to just remind people that we couldn't do this on our own. And you know what's interesting? After last year Sigma Run, the first sporting event was held. The sporting industry started to open. So really we were the catalyst to kind of trigger everything that followed after that. So sometimes you have to be the guinea pig. Sometimes you have to take the slack, but sometimes it works out for good. And you just have to remind people of why you're doing it. Sigma Run is such a huge event for corporate charity. The amount of money that Sigma Run has raised and have donated to the health sector, the same health sector that's straining. We were giving back equipment to the Port Antonian and Atabey hospitals. And we had to remind people that, hey, we're raising money for a cause. We're raising money for the same health sector that's strained, the same health sector that because of COVID-19 is under pressure. So what we're doing is for the good of the nation. And we're not doing this to put people at risk. We literally had less than 100 people on the road, but people don't read. People don't understand. People just want to see something and just react. But as PR professionals, you have to craft that story, craft that communication to remind people of your why.
Thank you. I love how you answer the questions. You go so in depth, you give us stories, insights, so we can follow. So exciting. I appreciated you mentioning that certain things aren't worth answering. And I think as PR practitioners, that's something that we need to be reminded of. It's not every time we get a stone thrown at us, we should respond or even do so in a negative way.
And I will say to you, I always say, like, sometimes if we just step back for like just a second and just think about like your career or anything, it's so applicable to life in general. Like, it's not everything people say, well, yeah, go answer either. Like, if you're supposed to answer everybody, you won't have the time of day to make yourself better. And that's the problem. I can go in a whole lot of social discussion, but that's a lot of the issue. We're so busy trying to fight battles with other people that we can't work on ourselves. How we're busy at cuss, we're busy at do this, we're busy at watch people, we're busy at do all kind of something, but like feeding ourselves and nourishing ourselves to be the best version of us.
Well, Miss Michelin, we enjoyed your presence. Your aura is inviting. The things that you touched on today really struck a chord and prepare us to go out there. I remember you telling us about having a checklist. As basic as it is, a lot of us forget. So having that reminder was a hit out of the park. You also remind us to work together, ask for help. You also told us that, listen, it's not about being selfish. In the media world, we have to look out for each other as it is about messages. You remind us to leave a mark, come with a legacy, work for what you want, work for your brand. And because of that, we have to tell you thank you from the deepest depths of our hearts, because you are not only equipping us for work, but you are equipping us to take on life as individuals. I thank you for sharing your experience through the Gleaner, through Courts, through Sagicor, and even your high school experience. Going back so far might have not been easy for you, but you did so willingly. And for that, we express the warmest thank you. Thank you. We are here with you. We are rooting for you as you have won our hearts today. And we look forward to where PR Belle will go. We'll be following your story and reaching out to you for help if we do need it. So thank you again. Have the best day. Be productive as you can be, and walk good.
Thank you so much, Donna Shay. It was an absolute pleasure just interacting with you and engaging with you over the past couple of weeks, few weeks. Michaela, thank you so much. I enjoyed this session. I always enjoy just rapping with people because I know how difficult period it is, university, young adult life. It is hard, but I'm gonna tell you guys, just enjoy.
Sorry, but the person.
Don't take anything too seriously. Life will just come at you. We'll have good moments, bad moments, sad moments. Life will happen, and ball if you want ball, and if you want to laugh the next day because something sweet here, just do that. So it was such a pleasure. Thank you so much, and I will leave my nice smile with y'all.
Thank you, Michelle.
Have a great rest of event. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Love you. You're great.